Hello, everybody. My name is Jeffrey Davis. Again, I'm the host of Radio Entrepreneurs. We continue to stream stories of entrepreneurship, leadership, how people are building businesses in this economy. I'm very lucky today because I'm joined by my guest co-host, Evan Macedo, VP Finance and Operations at the firm Sapers and Wallack. Welcome back, Evan.
Thank you, Jeffrey. It is always a pleasure being here on the show with you. We have interviewed so many fine guests throughout the years, and we have another very exciting guest today. So without, I guess, further ado, I know you usually do the introductions, but I'm going to take this one on today as one of my colleagues in my USA 500 Back Bay group. We have the pleasure of sitting here with Jason Aluko-Williams, President and CEO of Social Venture Partners of Boston. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Evan. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Jason, Social Venture Partners of Boston. What does that mean?
I know, right? It's a very fancy term. We're a venture philanthropy fund, yet another fancy term. And what that just simply means is when we were started about 20 some years ago by a group of venture capitalists that have been very successful in their VC efforts, they wanted to get into philanthropy. And they said, how could we adopt the best practices from the VC space to philanthropy? So just like in VC, where you're finding these really dynamic entrepreneurs, you're investing time and money to help them scale and grow their innovative business models as quickly as possible. We do that in the philanthropy space. So find very dynamic social entrepreneurs that have innovative approaches to social impact issues, and we provide them unrestricted grant money and pro bono capacity building to help them scale and grow their social impact as quickly and greatly as possible.
So, I guess almost 30 years, I've almost always worked with nonprofits as part of whatever I've done. And when you get a really smart social entrepreneur, they're more entrepreneurial sometimes than the entrepreneurs in for-profit businesses. They have a little bit more tax wiggle room, can I say? They have more flexibility. And if they can generate the funds on the back end, it can be a little bit easier. So can you explain that a little bit to our listeners? Because I don't think they understand that these organizations can be very entrepreneurial.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd argue, you've got to do all of the things you do in the for-profit space in terms of knowing how to run a business and be able to influence and motivate, folks to want to invest their time and capital into that effort. But many times you also got to be generalists because the, nonprofits operate most of the time severely under capacity. And so you can be a jack of all trades. So you got to know how to do marketing. You got to know how to fundraising. You got to know how to do operations. And so always inspired every single day by the leaders we get to work with, because they're just, I used that word earlier, dynamic. They truly are. They've got to be that kind of jack of all trades. And it gives them, to your point, a lot of ability to be creative because they're in the driver's seat. They get to really make decisions in real time about exactly what they need to do to leverage their lived experience to try to improve the lives of our fellow citizens.
Evan, do you mind if I jump in with one more quick question, then I'll let you run?
Please do.
So Jason, why don't you give us your career path that led you to this? Because it gives us a real understanding.
Yeah, I think my family's still trying to figure out what it was about, since I was supposed to start my career.
My mother passed away 22 years ago, and I don't think she ever knew understood what I did.
Right. Yeah, so I had the benefit of being the first of the family to go to college, and when you have that experience, you're like, okay, well, what can I do that's gonna set me up for success and make lots of money? And so I chose originally was going to go the law school path. And then this recruiter from Teach for America was very persuasive, found me senior year of college and said, oh, just, take a 2-year respite from that path and, help serve other students like yourself. And that turned now into 25 plus years of working, in the nonprofit space. So I was primarily education equity in a number of ways, from a classroom teacher to running Teach for America in Arizona to doing parent organizing around helping improve our public schools. the ed tech space. And now I decided at this stage in my career to go into venture philanthropy because I really wanted to take all the success I had as a 25, year seasoned nonprofit leader and really help to elevate the impact of other leaders that find themselves in the same position that I was in when I started my career. Ironically, as a grantee of social venture partners that I run now.
And speaking of that, in addition to being president, I know they just came to you with a new opportunity to help influence and mentor other members around the country that belong to your organization. Do you want to tell everyone the good news on the new role they're having you conduct over this
Yeah, I know.
this
Breaking
illustrious
news
next
as of
year?
yesterday on social media. So we are part of a global network of social venture partner affiliates around the world, actually. And there's a kind of parent organization of ours called Social Venture Partners International. And I've been given the opportunity starting next month to enter into a new role with them as Vice President of Strategy Engagement to actually help support our affiliates around the globe, not just in the US, but around the world in terms of how we can be as successful as possible in this effort around really helping to have true community-based, philanthropy and decision making when it comes to how we're supporting young entrepreneurs in the nonprofit space around the world.
So how does that affect your current business? Does it create value added for you or for the organization?
Yeah, I mean both. So part of what I do in this new role is affiliate success. So just helping to do joint programming, support, resource generation. One of the big things I'm most excited about in terms of leveraging the network is we have, companies that support our work because they want to find skills-based volunteer opportunities for their employees and really have kind of an amplification effect to their charitable giving. And that's the advantage of joining social venture partners. So when I think of a company like Fidelity Investments that's based here in Boston, they're piloting locally a corporate partnership with Social Venture Partners Boston, but because they, have a significant presence around the country and there's a lot of overlap between where their offices and employees are and where there's SVP affiliates, I'm excited to moving forward in this new role, be able to ultimately establish multi-city partnerships between a company like Fidelity Investments and Social Venture Partners.
And Jason, when Social Venture Partners does get involved with different non-for-profits in the area, how are you seeing those companies grow and develop compared to ones that are just trying to do things on their own? And how are you really helping to bring them forward to meeting their goals and their initiatives?
Yeah, I mean, I say all the time, I mean, you could be the most charismatic leader and be super passionate about the issue that you want to impact, and really be motivated to do so, obviously. But if you don't have kind of that foundational component of how to run an effective business, which is what a nonprofit at the end of the day, is, then you're never going to be able to scale and grow in the way that you need to and want to. And so that's where we come in terms of a true partnership. So not only providing those unrestricted infrastructure dollars that are hard to come by in the philanthropic space, but combining that where our partners who are the donors are rolling up their sleeves and doing that skills-based volunteerism pro bono. So helping them
Almost like it's like the accelerators for not
exactly.
you're like an accelerator for a nonprofit.
Exactly. And we did a 10-year study of organizations that were selected as grantees compared to those that weren't. And we saw that, those that were working with us over the 2 to 3 year commitment we make to them were growing at 5 times the rate of similarly sized nonprofits in Greater Boston, which obviously that's really what inspires and motivates us because what does that mean? That meant for them, they were having almost 100% increase in the number of people that their programs could serve, almost an 80% increase in the revenue to support their work, almost a 2/3 increase in their staffing capacity to be able to execute on that. And so, that really motivates us and makes us want to bring in as many more partners as we can to be able to support even more outstanding leaders and nonprofits in the years to
Well,
come.
Jason, that's quite a compelling story you tell when you get down to the metrics of your performance. If somebody wants to learn more about you or Social Venture Partners Boston, how do they find you?
Yeah, the website's going to be the number one best way because that leads to everywhere else. So www.svpboston.org is going to be the best place to go.
Thank you. We hope you come back to the show again. It's a very interesting category you're in. I think it's the first that we've had someone like you on the show, so we got to have you back again, and you're joining our network. Evan Macedo from Sapers and Wallack, how do people find you? Because you found Jason, so we want you back.
Absolutely. Well, if anybody wants to find me to talk about their retirement plans, their executive benefits, employee benefits, or their wealth management investments, you can find me easily by going to sapers-wallack.com. You can find our team page there with myself and all of our financial advisory colleagues, or you can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a message and I'd be happy to connect.
Great. Thanks to both of you, and remind all our listeners that this is Radio Entrepreneurs.